Welcome back to the Crochet Credits. Host my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today's the Crochet TV Blanket, something that is kind of almost mindless and something that you can have a lot of fun with the color with this one. This is using Bernat Blanket yarn. The colors that you're seeing are ombre and the colors are listed here on the pattern. You can use other kinds of Bernat Blanket as well as this pattern can be substituted for other size yarn. Just make sure that the hook complements the yarn. So here is Bernat Blanket Ombres, but Bernat Blanket Stripes also works with this. So you'll notice that the color changes as well. So it's like a cake format that you have. There are other balls in Bernat Blanket where it's not presented as a cake, but it is stripes, also long stripes. So what happens with this is that you're going to use two different colors. So you're gonna choose this color and then maybe another color. You can also choose a solid colors if you want to control where it lands on your project as well. This concept is really quite neat, and what happens with this particular stripes, what I used, is that when one changes, the other one may not be ready to change, so colors start to overlap with each other. So you see how this same purple here is in this purple here with the pink, so you can see that it's transitioning as it's going. But if you don't want things just to suddenly change on you, you can control that as well by using solid colors of yarn. The trick here is carrying over your yarn, which I've never done before. So this was inspired to me by a designer at Yarnspirations, Erin, and she's fabulous and came up with this or showed me this concept. I don't know if she came up with it, but showed me this concept, and I think it's really quite awesome. So I'm going to show you the ins and outs of getting started with this, and let's go. So as we begin this project, the secret to changing the size, you'll notice that the TV blanket is 43 inches wide by 62 inches long, perfect enough for me to sit and lie on the couch. So what I like here is that I like to make it so it really kind of works for me, but if you'd like to make it a baby size or anything, as long as you chain in multiples of 2. So 2, 4, 6, all the way, just keep it a multiple 2, and this will always work out. So where it changes, if you change the width, it will change the width of the striping that you have. Again, not a deal breaker. As I said, if you would like to control your colors, you can use the same concept using just regular solid balls. I'm not sure that the variegated will work so well where the color is so short, but again, you can test that and see if that works for you. So you will notice that the colors will go from the ones from the bottom to the top. So if you follow the one row up, just like you see it changed and keeps on going. So you will notice that one ball will always be one vertical and the other ball will be always the next vertical. So they always stay separate from each other visually, which makes it really quite appealing. You'll notice that some colors really do pop better, and I think that having the lighter colors every now and then creates a nice accent piece. So without further ado, let's begin. And we'll be using an 8mm size L crochet hook, but you can also do a 10mm size N crochet hook, which I'll demonstrate today. So to get started, you're just gonna chain in multiples of 2. So you'll notice that the pattern there claimed that it was 104 for the number of chains. So that's obviously a multiple of 2. So that is your secret to changing the size. So I'm just gonna do a multiple, I'm just gonna put 10. It's a multiple of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now the first two rows I'm keeping the color the same, and then we're gonna start doing the fun stuff. So the second row, the first row now is just go second chain from the hook, so 1, and just turn it around and get the back hump only, and go into the back hump of that chain and single crochet yourself all the way across. You don't really need to count it as to go across if you don't want to. You probably don't need to, but it should be an odd number then, because you had to go second chain from the hook. You've eliminated one of the chains, and having that odd number now is what makes it work for any size. So you chain in even numbers, and then once you go second chain from the hook, you eliminate one of the chains out, therefore you'll have an odd number. So you're just gonna go all the way across, single crochet just like so, and then we'll just do another row of that, and then we'll begin the fun stuff. So once I come all the way across, this is row number 1. Just turn your work and do row number 2. So just chain up 1 and just do 1 single crochet in each all the way to the end, and then we're gonna introduce your secondary color, which will be the remaining of the project. So you're gonna do that. So the very final 2 rows of your project at the end will just be 2 solid rows of single crochet to give it balance from one side to the other. So let's do this row, and then we're gonna begin doing the fun stuff next. As you complete all the way across, you have one more stitch left, so you have the last stitch. So this is where you're going to change up the things a little bit, or change up your technique. You're just gonna go into the very last stitch, and you'll do this every time that you're changing colors, because you'll be changing colors every other row. And you're gonna just pull through, and instead of finishing the stitch, I want you, just because it's the first time, just leave an extra long tail that you can use a tapestry needle to hide in later. And you are just going to just put that onto your hook and pull through. And then that color is now ready for that, for the next row. So what I want you to do is turn your work like this. I'm gonna take a quick breather and then I'll be right back, and then we'll show you how to use the colors then opposite to each other. So what I want you to do is get your green going to the ball ready in your hand. Get the yarn, the yellow one here. You're just going to push it up so you can bury it and grab your straggler at the same time, because it's the first time you're using it. So you only have to do that straggler the first time, or any time that you happen to change the yarn balls. So what we want to do is chain 2. So 1 and 2, and that counts as your first single crochet and chain 1 space. So you're simply going to skip the next single crochet and go to the next one after that. Okay, so this one is part of this first stitch. You want to skip this one and go to the third one over. Okay, and put the straggler down on top of the line, and then just single crochet around both pieces like so. And what you're going to do is that you are going to continue to go across. So chain 1, skip the next one, and single crochet right into the next one. We're setting ourselves up. This is a setup row. So chain 1, skip the next one, and you're gonna do that all the way across. Eventually your straggler will run out. So you want to continue to keep that yellow going with you, so it's being buried up underneath. Chain 1, and you'll come into your very last stitch eventually. And you want to pull the green through, but you want the yellow to be available next time, so let that green fall through and use the yellow to pull through, and that would be the conclusion of that row. So you're gonna turn your work and you're gonna say, God, it's a mess. And what I want to show you here, which is the whole point of this tutorial, is that I'm gonna show you how to bury all this stuff in so it's hardly visible at all. So to bury all this fun stuff in, now you just have the one green. Okay, so now you're gonna take the green, so it's gonna be on top of the line and coming over. The trick is to scoop up and pick up the colors that are being dragged up underneath. So you want to chain 2, so you always chain 2, and you're always gonna come into this first chain 1 space. That'll always be there. See how the yellow is sitting there? You want to scoop up this green, and you want to scoop up underneath that yellow which is being dragged, and just single crochet. And what this is doing, it's pulling everything together as a one-piece unit. So chain 1 and then scoop up. So because you have the straggler, you have 2 lines that appear there. So just scoop up under both and single crochet. Chain 1 and scoop up. And remember, you're going up over top of this green. So chain 1, and then finally you come into your last one, and if there's anything there, see the yellows being just suspended there, so you want to scoop up underneath that so it pulls it up with the stitch, and you're gonna single crochet in the final. But you want to change your color now and pull through. Okay, so the first time through is kinda hard, but once you get understanding, this is awesome. So now we're gonna begin another row. So you're gonna chain up 2, 1 and 2. So the yellow you have to put up with you, so just put it up so it's gonna be stuck underneath, and then what you want to do, the green that was being dragged up underneath, you want to scoop that in there too, so that it's being pulled up. So both of those kind of carrying yarns are being carried at the same time. So you're just gonna scoop up underneath that into the chain 1 space and single crochet. And so this yellow is now being dragged and getting ready for the next row. So scoop up underneath the green that's being dragged and hold down that yellow. Chain 1, and you keep doing that. Once you identify these yarns that are being carried, if you're not sure, just pull up on the yarn and you'll see that it's gonna be shifted because it's just holding, it's just in a holding position. Once you come to the very end, just coming in and turn it around so you can see it, and you'll see that the green is what you dragged up, and you can lock that into position so it's better hidden. And because that's your last stitch, let it fall and then get your yellow. So let's review again. So it's always the same. So you're gonna chain 2, put the green up so you can drag it, and then find the carrying yarn. Do you see it, this yellow? If you're not sure, just pull on it and you can see that it will shift where it's being carried. So just going up underneath those 2 into that chain 1 space, chain 1, and etc. And you're gonna do that all the way across. See how you're just grabbing it up and it's holding up underneath the stitches and out of plain view. If you don't scoop it up, what happens is that the yarn strand can look like it's falling out. So coming into the very last one, okay, I'm scooping, but I'm just taking a look, seeing anything else that needs to be scooped, and it's this yellow. So the yellow is being carried up, and pull it in and then change like so. Okay, so turn your work, chain up 2, put your yellow up, and find the carrying yarn. So you see it right here. If you're not sure, you can pull on it. Okay, so you're just gonna scoop up underneath that one and keeping that yellow then going across. So as the colors change, the verticals change. So the greens will always match each other, as you see, if you wanted a solid color. And it's a really fun technique to be able to do. So I've known this stitch forever. Well, it feels like forever, but I've known this stitch a long time, but I didn't know that I could carry yarn like that and also bury it in so that it's really well hidden. So coming in, make sure the last one you just turn it around and get that carrying strand, which is the green, to go up underneath, and then pull through and change. So the very final 2 rows, you're just gonna release the one color. You can choose any color and just strictly go back and forth. So the final 2 rows, chain 1, so single crochet in the first. Okay, and then when you go in this one, we're not gonna carry this green anymore. So let me just cut that so it's out of my face. And you just carry on and just keep on picking up the yarns that are being carried. Okay, and then just go into every stitch and chain 1 space. Okay, coming right into the end, turn it around, look for that carrying yarn that you'll see, and then turn and then finish the final. So chain 1 and 1 single crochet in each. And that would be how you would complete this one here. It's just a matter of a technique. It's an idea. I think it works really quite well. I'm not sure how well it hides under other different types of yarns because this is such a plush yarn. Any kind of imperfections get really hidden really well. Once you're done, then you want to take your yarn that you were finishing here and you just want to just weave it in with the tapestry needle up underneath the yarns and just keep it all nice and clean underneath. You don't want it to appear to the outside of the yarn so that it doesn't ever get shown and wreck the look. So this is kind of a neat technique and I hope that you enjoy, and this is called my TV blanket, and you'll see that the outside edges always look a little off, but everything else in between is awesome. So when I say off, that's just the way it's gonna be. So have a good one, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.